Hello and welcome back to the channel, and I just want to talk about Rogue Point, which is a game I've been playing recently, and I've been generally have been enjoying it, even with its flaws, which there are quite a few in my opinion. But it's very easy to see the vision behind it, and I do respect it because I love the developer's previous work at Black Mesa, and I'm a real big fan of the team overall, and I do want this game to succeed. And this isn't a full review by any means, but this is more of so my early impressions of the game, because I generally don't like to review games that are in early access. I'll wait until like 1.0 or something before I fully review the game. I will say this, the foundation is strong, but there are several areas that serious improvement before this game can truly live up to what it's aiming for. And to give you a brief synopsis of what this game is, you basically drop into missions, you do different objectives, whether it be hostage rescues, laptop retrievals, or a combination of both. And there's also a few more. Then you extract, right? As you progress, you collect gear, carries over into the next mission, you get cash to buy better gear, and overall the goal is to complete a campaign run. And the tension in the game is pretty real. If you die, you lose everything. And despite the issues I will address later, there are some things I do like quite a bit. Strong visual presentation. The graphics and lighting are pretty solid for an early access game. The environments are detailed, immersive. Its user interface is very clean and easy to understand. It doesn't overwhelm you with like a bunch of unnecessary clutter. And the tutorial does a very good job of teaching you how to actually play the game. Basics. Within a few missions, you'll understand the core loop. And of course, no pay to win. Everything is just skins, attachments, and cosmetics, which can be earned through gameplay. There is like a supporter pack you can get that I think is a few cosmetics, but really don't need it. And the biggest thing is randomized maps. Even though there are only a few maps right now, like airport, offices, mall, etc., the layouts shift between runs. They're randomized, so like it keeps each run feeling a bit different and fresh each time you run through the same place. But that's really it when it comes to the positives, I have to say. Unfortunately, Rogue Point also has some major weaknesses that hurt the replayability overall, in my opinion, right? Performance is a bit of a issue. It's not the worst in the world, but it could be improved upon. You'll get between, at least I get between 50 and 60 FPS, which is kind of, it's not perfect, especially for shooters. You kind of want a solid 60 for the shooting to feel pretty good. And for me, I'm kind of stuck between the 50s and 60 range, with a 4080 at 4K resolution. Visual debris and destruction effects, also tank performance, pretty bad. And I think some effects are way overtuned. And for a tactical shooter, consistent and smooth gunfights are essential, right? Because it has to feel fair, and if you die because, oh, your game lagged a bit, that's a pretty rough feeling. The AI is also fairly inconsistent. Sometimes there are some fantastic gunfights when like the enemies are behind cover, they're like switching sides, they're trying to flank you, but most of the time they get stuck on geometry. They kind of aimbot you from far away, and they generally just charge at you with no real tactics most of the time. Improved flanking, using the cover more consistently, smart repositioning, and just overall enemies communicating with each other to like engage you would be really important for this game to make the combat feel a lot more fun and dynamic. I think one of the biggest disappointments for me was the roguelike system. Most upgrades you get per run are just stat boosts, like more damage, more armor, more health, and like smaller variations like, oh, you get a kill, you get armor. Just overall, just flat percentage increases in your stats, right? I can see they're getting boring pretty fast. Roguelikes, I think, thrive on creative build variety, special effects, I mean, elemental perks, whatever, right? It doesn't have, there's something to keep it grounded, but like just flat stat boosts are kind of boring, and Rogue Point doesn't really offer any of that stuff yet. And outside of cosmetics and attachments, there isn't really any sort of like long-term reward. I feel like roguelike shooters need a more permanent progression system, whether it be more money you can spend per run at the start, because whenever you like finish a run, it just resets your progress and you're back to starting with just a pistol and like barely any armor. And for the enemies, like, I don't know, like a really small skill tree that with a few permanent unlocks would be pretty cool. Whether it be like, I don't know, like I said before, more starting cash at the start of a run. Maybe some like really tiny, minute, small buffs to like your damage or something. Because enemies in this game are very tanky. It'll take several shots to kill them. If you unlock new ammo types or something. Without most of that stuff, it's going to be really hard to say how long people will stick with this game in the long term without a meaningful progression system. So I understand roguelikes are meant to be, you play it, you die, it resets all your stuff, but games like Hades, where it has like a persistent progression that's permanent as you play through each run, something like that would be very beneficial to a game like this. And also, the dead drop rooms are kind of pointless. Basically, what you do, you find phones off the mercs, right? You unlock secret rooms, unlock bonus loot, but in my experience, it's been kind of unrewarding. Most of the time, you just get defibs, and that's pretty much it. In early demo versions of this game, these rooms had rare weapons or special like items you could get, and I think that needs to return because right now it's not as engaging. The system feels kind of wasted, and also the gameplay feels kind of janky right now. ADS feels like an afterthought. Recoil is very excessive, right? And hip fire is often more effective when aiming, which is kind of strange, right? And the weapons, the audio is kind of rough a little bit. It sounds like you're shooting an airsoft gun most of the time. And for a shooter, right, these guns need to sound like punchy. And this is something I can forgive. It's early access game. Like, I'm sure most sound effects are just placeholder. This is an area that needs a lot of polish, right? And I feel like the worst thing right now is the balancing. Enemies are extremely spongy, especially the heavily armored unit, the heavy, the shotgun. Meanwhile, you die in like barely any time at all if you're not behind cover. And it can create situations where you mag dump enemies and they barely lose any armor. And extracting becomes overwhelming due to just endless waves of just armored enemies. Especially on harder difficulties, which is kind of rough. I think the movement feels okay. I've certainly played games with better movement, but you feel very fast in this one, which makes sense. Its maps are kind of big, but sprinting feels delayed. Direction changes are kind of sluggish. And sometimes when I was vaulting or jumping, I'd get stuck on something and I had to restart the game. And leaning, you lean so far in this game, which I like, but at the same time, it's not very realistic, especially like your friends leaning. They contort their spines to lean. It's so funny. Some suggestions I have, right, would be less recoil, especially while ADSing, because, like, the kick is so bad. Smarter AI for better flanking and cover behavior. More variety in the enemies itself, like maybe some snipers that don't die in, like, a single hit, or can actually hit you. Medics that heal enemies, drone units, etc., stuff like that. Maybe some sort of mission modifiers. I don't know, like something like it's just something but snipers or something like that. All nothing but melee guys, make runs more interesting, and also dead drops containing meaningful rewards. And expand the perk system, because right now it's pretty bare bones. As of right now, I don't think the game is amazing yet, but it definitely could be. Right now, it's fun, it's a strong foundation, but it's being held back by poor performance, weak roguelike depth, clunky gameplay and movement, lack of any meaningful progression and inconsistency. But even so, I'm still not going to lose hope. There is a vision here, and with the right improvements, this could become something real special by the time it reaches 1.0. It's on sale right now. I don't know if it is by the time you're watching this video, but it currently is on sale. Grab it for $17 right now, but I don't know if I'd grab it for full price right now. Wait for a sale. With that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. That being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.